Hi. Sorry, I am running a little late this morning. So I have satin matte things to show you all today. I have all kinds of stuff. So welcome to Glazing with Amaco. Today we're going to cover satin mattes. We have new satin matte glazes to show you today. And for those of you who have not tuned in before, I'm Kara. And I'm here at Amaco. You can also find me on Facebook for the Amaco Brent Low Fire Glaze Group and for the Amaco Brent Cone 5 to 6 Glaze Forum. And I'm here to answer questions and also show you some things that we have today. So I have all kinds of stuff. Good morning, Christina. Let me adjust some things so I can actually see comments. Good morning, Sherry, HMC, and Crystal. Good morning to Georgia. So those of you who've been tuning in with me for the past few weeks on alternating Tuesdays for Q and Amaco have seen me working on this project. And this is a combination of products. So this cake stand is glazed with 3 coats of satin matte white. The whole thing is glazed with satin matte white. And then I went over the raw, unfired glaze with the semi-moist underglazes. And it's been fired now. And I'm going to switch to my overhead and I can show you a little bit more. So you can see I have the red octopus. Came out a lot more red than it looked in the video when I was applying it. So this has all been fired and it's all very silky smooth. There's a couple of places where I have some texture where the color is very, very strong. So here on the blue, a little bit on the brown. But overall, it's really satiny smooth, and you can see how much delicate shading I can create and the colors that I can do. So that was really exciting. I love doing that. Satin mattes with smugs over is one of my favorite things. Good morning, Beata and Janet. Great to see everybody. So today I have new satin matte glazes. I have a few different, we have 6 new colors that have come out. So I'm going to show them to you one at a time. The first one is SM2. This is stone. And it is a really lovely gray. It's kind of it almost has like a purple undertone, I want to say. It's not a blue gray and it's not a brown gray, but it's somewhere in between, kind of a taupey sort of gray. Really, really nice neutral sort of gray. So stone, SM2. And then the second one we have is SM3, and this is marble. And marble is just a super pale version of stone. And so it is just a whisper of color. And I've had a few people who've asked what the difference is between white and marble. And it is very, very subtle, but I'm going to show you. This is our label tile for marble. And this is our label tile for white. This is the white satin matte right here. I have something underneath it, so it's rattling around. There we go. I have so much stuff, and I've just had everything heaped up on my table. And this is marble. And it is very, very subtle difference, but when they are next to each other, the marble is not white. It is a very, very pale gray. And just a lovely, lovely color. So I'm going to put this one back. And I'm going to move us to moss. This is SM, I think it's SM42. Now I do not know. So it might be 46, it might be 42. In any case, this is moss, and as you can see, it is a beautiful, slightly olive color. I think looking at my video monitor, it looks a little more blue in the monitor. It does have kind of a yellowy tone to it in life, just slightly more yellow, but it is a lovely olive green. Love that one too. I skipped over Seafoam. Christina says, will Aardvark have them September 23rd for their anniversary? Satin and Celadons are my favorite. And the moss. Yeah, the moss is gorgeous. I don't know. You will have to talk to Aardvark, but I'm pretty sure that they have pre-ordered all of the Celadons and Satin mats. And so they should have them by the 23rd, but I can't guarantee that. So you will have to talk to Aardvark about it. They are our Brent West distributor, so they may have gotten an order in quickly. So this is Seafoam, and Seafoam, when I see this again on my monitor, it looks more blue, but in life it is just a perfect pale aqua color. Just a really, really nice. It has more green to it than I see in the monitor. I have to see about adjusting my color on my cameras. And this is Cayenne. Love this color too. And this one, a few people have asked about it in comparison to red. And this, of course, is a much more, it's a much browner red, so it's a russety color. Really, really nice, rich color, though. And last but not least is Goldenrod. And I don't think I have my yellow, I left my yellow tile at my desk, but Goldenrod, Evelyn says, Aardvark will be crowded that morning. I bet it will. They will be busy. I'm sure it'll be an all hands on deck sort of morning. And so this Goldenrod, I also had questions about this compared to yellow. And Goldenrod is a little bit darker than the SM yellow. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit deeper in color, the Goldenrod is a little bit darker than the regular yellow. The SM yellow is a little bit more buttery, a little bit lighter. This is more like, you know, autumn flowers. So that is our new 6 colors. And Sandy says, does the satin mat play well with Cone 5/6 speckled clays? And the answer is yes, we have tested that. And yes, they look fantastic. So the next thing I have to share with you, let me move my little sample chips off to the side. The next thing I have to share with you is all of these on speckled clay. And here we go. So, might be hard to see. Let me go to my overhead. And can you see this? This is a speckled clay, and you can, I need to get the, come on camera, focus directly on the thing. So this is a speckled clay. My camera really doesn't want to focus. There we go. So you can see it has, it does show the speckles really beautifully. This is stone. There we go. Again, see the speckles. Seafoam. So it shows speckles really beautifully. Moss. cayenne. A little more subtle with the cayenne, but still you can see them. And marble. All of the satin mattes look fantastic. It's hard to see with marble because it's so reflective and the sun just came out, so we're getting a lot of glare. But this mug is a speckled clay. This is our discontinued 480, and we had a couple of mugs on our bisque shelf left over, and so I glazed it with the moss. And as you can see, it does have some speckles, and it does show kind of the buff color does show through a little bit. So here is a chip where it is just on regular white clay versus the speckled clay. And I just think that moss is just such a lovely color. HMC says, do you offer a class tutorial on making the fantastic pieces on which you showcase the new colors? I don't have a class, but if you join me on Fridays at 10:30, I'm in the studio, and I will be making some more forms like this. Because these were all these shapes that you see that I did, like on the cayenne, these are all hand built, and I made them just for this project. And currently I'm working on a bust, but when that's done, I'll be doing some more of these abstract pieces, and some other things as well. I also like to combine throwing with hand building, so that's always really fun. And Pat asks, how many coats do you put in order to see the speckles through? Pat, I put 3 coats of the satin mattes on those speckled pieces, so you can see the speckles even through them. But I think it depends on your clay. So clays that have manganese speckles, they will show through the glaze. If the speckles are from something else, they might not. So I would recommend that you test, but I did not have any trouble. So this was 3 coats of moss, and I still see the speckles very, very sharply through the glaze. Those are so much fun. So today, to get started, I also have some mixing things, but to get started, I'm going to do some glazing, and actually I think I'm going to do this one with cayenne. Christina says, satin was popular in the 40s. Your shapes are so retro. Well, thank you. I definitely was looking at a lot of our old ads to get ideas for shapes. So I was having a lot of fun, and yes, some of these were influenced by forms that I saw that were popular in the 50s. So I was just having a blast with that. So I'm going to glaze the inside of this later, but I'm going to glaze the outside with cayenne, and I think that I want to do kind of an ombre effect down towards the bottom and do the very, very bottom in marble. So I'm going to put the first coat from the top most of the way down. Arlene says, love the new colors. What do they fire best at, 5 or 6? Arlene, I fired them at both, and I don't really notice any difference. So I would say test them. If you're firing, now all of the samples you've seen that I've shown were fired at cone 5. So I would say if you're firing to cone 5, you can expect these results. If you're firing to cone 6 or hotter, I would recommend testing. Now I have tested these at cone 6, and I don't notice any difference. But generally I do fire the satin mattes at 5, not at 6. And that is mostly just preference. I fire most of my stuff at 5. So here I've got one good coat of the cayenne on there, and I'm going to put the subsequent coats a little bit higher up. And I'm going to put the rest of these aside. I brought a little bit of everything just in case. Or should I do the goldenrod? Yeah, I'm going to do goldenrod instead of marble. So it'll be cayenne at the top, fading into cayenne at the fading into goldenrod at the bottom. I've changed my mind so many ways. So over here I have some mixing tiles, and I've shown these before in the satin matte mixing video, but I wanted to show some of these again because they are just so much fun. So I have a variety of things. This is the SM11, which is the white, mixed with SM24, and I think that that's teal, but I need to check because sometimes I lose track of what the numbers are. So I'm pulling out my field guide. For those of you who have not seen a field guide, this is our newest field guide, 2023 field guide. It contains all of our current underglazes. If you're looking at these, this is 05, cone 10, each color. Our underglaze chalks, our low fire glazes, and then we get to our mid to high range glazes. And we have our satin mats. Love these. So this one is 3 parts SM11 white and 1 part SM24. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the this is not seafoam. Is it? It's not mint. It must be seafoam. Black with 60, which is goldenrod. Really, really nice. This one's 20, which is light blue, and 24, which is the seafoam. I love this turquoise. So the light blue and the seafoam together make this really, really blue-green, strong, vibrant color. I like this because it looks like milk chocolate. I'm so easily influenced by anything chocolate. So this is SM1, which is black, with SM68, which is orange. So if you mix black and orange, you get this amazing milk chocolate. So Wendy is asking, how can you thin it? So if you're talking about thinning it, just adding water, you can just add water to thin your glaze. Or if you're wanting to make it more translucent, if that's what you're going for, I'm going to very gently brush. If you're trying to make it look more translucent, add some of the clear. Still get the same waxy kind of surface, but a little bit less opaque. Now, those of you who've tuned in before when I've talked about the satin mats, you know that one of the reasons I love the satin mats is because of their surface. They are so silky and they just feel so good. I mean, you'll notice when I'm handling pieces that have the satin mats on them that I'm just always touching them because they are so silky soft. Another sample, something to consider for decoration. This is the Satin Matte White with an underglaze decal applied over the raw glaze and then fired to cone 5. So that's a commercial underglaze decal right there. Looks great. Nice. The lines are still very, very readable, and it just is smooth in the surface. There's no roughness at all. Third coat, last coat on, and just on the top part. To get these coats as even as possible. So I do go back over with as the brush becomes drier, I will go back over to kind of smooth out the glaze. And I'm going to let that dry so that I can start applying the goldenrod. Christina says, oh my goodness, I'm so inspired. I'm so glad to hear that. I know there's so many ideas that I kind of throw out there. So what do you find the most inspiring of these? And what do you look forward to trying out sometime? Is it the underglaze, using underglaze transfers over it? Is it using the smugs? Is it using the satin mats on speckled clay, or mixing, or just the new colors in general? All of the above? Let me know. Drop in the comments, what do you think is the most interesting part of the satin mats? Part that you really find interesting, want to try out? So you can do an ombre effect by mixing glazes, but a lot of times I prefer to just apply them in kind of a dry brushing manner so that they kind of move together. Roxana says, I love the blue. I'm going to try it, but we'll have to buy it first. Well, yeah, it's hard to try it if you don't buy it. But so many great colors. Really excited about adding to the satin matte line, and just so many ways that you can use them. I didn't bring the sample where you can use, switch over so you can see me, where you can use car striping tape and block off sections. So you do a design and then flood the areas with color. So it's almost like a stained glass. And then what I tried recently, and I'm going to make a lesson plan and I will be demoing it in a few more weeks, is you use the tape, flood the areas with different colors, and then before you take the tape off, brush 2 coats of wax resist over the whole thing, and then peel the tape off and apply a different color. It could be a black, it could be whatever you want your lines to be, and it does not stick to the other parts that you've already glazed because of the wax, but because the tape was there, you can have these crisp lines. It's almost like a stained glass window kind of effect. Lots of fun. And I will be demoing that and making a lesson plan in the next few weeks, so I hope you will join me for that. Sandy says, definitely using the satin mats on speckled clay, but also underglaze transfers over the glaze. And HMC says, I'm inspired to try the underglaze transfer on top of the glaze. Do you apply the transfer the same way as always onto the dry glaze? And yes, actually, that is exactly what I did. Is I had 3 coats of the white glaze, And when it was dry, I took my underglaze transfer face down and very, very gently with a wet sponge, just got it wet, just patted it down there so that it was wet, and then let it set up a little bit and then peeled it off. You have to be very gentle because the raw glaze, you don't want to get it too wet. So you just want to get it wet enough for the underglaze to transfer, but not so wet that the glaze starts to lift. Crystal says the cake stand you did was beautiful. Thank you so much, Crystal. It was so much fun. If you guys joined me for any of those videos, you could see that I was just having a blast doing it. And definitely the satin mats over, the satin mats with the smugs over is one of my favorite techniques for getting just beautiful painterly effects. Just wonderful. Let's see. Christina says, mixing makes me excited. Using underglaze over satins and underglaze transfers, all three in my wheelhouse. I have pinstripe tape too. Oh yeah, there's so much that we can do with all those. And Lori says, can you do that with the Celadons too? Absolutely, you can do that with the Celadons. So just pinstriping tape and flood the areas with glaze. You could do different colors in each section even, and then wax resist, and then peel off the tape and apply a contrasting color. So if you were using a lot of light colors, trying to get this as dry as I can to kind of blend those colors together. So use a dark color if you're using a lot of lighter colors. Lots and lots of ways to approach it. So I'm going to fire that this week, and we'll see how that comes out. Grace says, I'm surprised that you can even paint on it with the satin matte underglazes. The smug underglazes, yes. It works great for so many things. And I have layered lighter colors over darker colors and vice versa. Putting lighter colors over darker doesn't always work, but putting dark over light works really well. So those are all fantastic techniques for approaching the satin mats. So that's all I have for you all today, all the things that I have to show. In 2 weeks, I'll be showing I'll be showing the new velvets, and we will have more new products coming out later in the fall, so I'll be showing some of those off. We've got lots and lots of stuff happening this fall at Amaco, all very, very exciting. So I hope to see you next week, and in the meantime, happy glazing. And if you have more questions or comments, just drop them in the comment box, and I will answer them later offline. Happy glazing!